We are in the playoffs once more here in our Draft Only franchise with the Rockies, and we're going up against the Cubs today, who landed the best free agent from this last class, or at least tied for the best with Ellie De La Cruz in Evan Carter, and he's helped them get to the NLDS. Other than him, only Nick Lodolo stands at above a 90 overall on this team, a lefty pitcher, which I think, we're just better at hitting in general. That being said, I mean, he's a very, very good lefty pitcher, so I don't think it'll be easy by any means to hit against him. After that, it's just a really solid team. There's a lot of guys here in the 80s across the board. There's not a ton of weaknesses, just not a ton of star power either. It's a lot of kind of borderline, maybe all-star level talents on this team after the first two. Not incredibly dissimilar to how the Rockies are built, where we have, a couple of stars at the top. We maybe have a few more 90 overalls at this point, but then just a really deep roster kind of in that mid-80s section. I think we're a bit better than this team. We did have the #1 offense in baseball last year. If you missed last stream, just a couple of highlight things I wanted to talk about from it. Neil Dorsey just barely missed out on a triple crown this year. His average was 0.002, lower than the highest average in the NL. But he led the NL in home runs and he led in RBIs as well, picking up his second consecutive MVP award, second consecutive home run champion, Silver Slugger All-Star as well. Also was the winner of the Hank Aaron Award this year. Did not win Rookie of the Year, unfortunately, this year, although we had a couple of strong candidates in Ungerer and the automatic Doble. Other awards, though, we did get Gold Glove at catcher with Ethan Salas, who has all of his defense now in the 90s. We also got a Silver Slugger for shortstop because Murillo had himself another really good year. Fell off a bit in average, but back-to-back 40-plus home run seasons. Already has 182 home runs in his career at 23 years of age. And really, we've established that we have two of the best players in all of baseball with Murillo and Neil Dorsey. That should help us here in this playoff series against Chicago. Now, I've put some thought into how I kind of want to pace these playoff series. I think I don't want to go as slowly as I did last season. I think it took a lot of both real life time and episodic time to go through the playoffs. So what I'm planning to do is, until we get to the World Series, of course, if we get to the World Series, I want a playoff series to be one episode. Now, to avoid it being like 5 hours of footage I need to edit, what we're going to do here is we are going to kind of slow sim through the first 6 innings. Once we get to the 7th inning, if it's within 3 runs, we will watch the rest, or if it gets within 3 runs at any point in those final 3 innings, we'll hop in and watch the rest. Unfortunately, this means we're not really going to see much of our starting pitching, which is an unfortunate downside to this. That's just the best solution I could come up with. If you have a better solution for future playoff series, let me know, but that's kind of just what I've come up with. We are going to slow sim these just because I want to actually see what's going on in these games. I don't want to just quick sim to the 7th and not have any idea of how we got there, but this should help us get through these playoffs every year just a little bit sooner than we did last year. Thought a little bit about what to do with the lineup. Brian Dill, and Clemente Herrera technically had the 2 worst averages on the team in the regular season. I still think we're going to keep them in the 1 and 2 spot here for the playoffs. I just think, the the offense was really, really good this year. And even though the averages weren't there for Doe and Herrera, they were last postseason when we were actually watching the games. And so I trust them in that 1 and 2 spot here. The one thing I did do is I moved Omar Figueroa up a little bit. I mean, he was hitting 8th and 9th. Could probably even make an argument that he should be up above Ethan Salas, but Salas also had a really good year this year, hitting pretty much 300. So he gets a slight boost to the order here, going from 9th up to 7th, but that's what we're rocking with here lineup wise in the playoffs. And against lefties, I think it's pretty much the same. So lefties and righties. So with that being said, let's hop into game 1 of the NLDS. Taking a look here at the Cubs lineup. Evan Carter, of course, hitting in the 3 spot. Kevin Alcantara, I remember him from our White Sox series last year. Had a pretty awesome play in that. But rocking the City Connect uniforms today, trying to get back to the World Series this time. Come out victorious in it. Last year's run, though surprising, had a ton of promise, and I honestly thought we were going to win the World Series. Didn't work out that way in the end. This postseason comes with a bit more expectations, I think, rather than it being a pleasant surprise that we win the World Series. That's got to be the expectation this year, and you never know in the playoffs. Certainly things can go unexpectedly. The prime example being last year, I thought for sure we would lose to the Braves. The best team doesn't always win in these scenarios, but this team has a lot of postseason experience. Hopefully we can parlay that into some success here in the 2030 postseason run here. So let's quickly start to get into this slow sim. We get a single there from Triantos, but not much else doing for the Cubs offense here. And Brian Doe immediately gets things started with a solo homer here in the bottom of the first. You'll love to see it. Dorsey with a walk after that. Veen drives home 2 more, and just like that, it is 3-0 Rockies. After the first 2 home runs, starting things off with a bang on offense. Dollander with another strong inning pitched there. Offense unable to get anything going here in the second. Leadoff single, but right into a double play for Daniel Susac. And 3 scoreless innings pitched by Dollander. Maybe we will see our starting pitcher play here today if Dollander can go deep, but of course this Rockies offense might just kind of put things out of reach by the time we get to the 7th. Make it 4 straight scoreless innings pitched for Dollander to start the playoffs. You'll love to see it. Offense, though, has not scored either since the first inning. Got things started off with a bang, but have not been able to parlay that into much else here. 2 hits allowed for Dollander through 5, but he's been excellent. We get our 4th run aboard with a Sterling Thompson solo homer here. Trouble speaking there, but a triple from Clemente Herrera. Not often you see those with 58 speed, but Brian Bello comes in, and Rafael Murillo gets the 4th home run of the day for the Rockies. This one bringing home 2, and it's 6-0 in favor of the home team. Gotta love this start. Right now it's looking like we might not hop into game 1 at all here, if things can continue to go our way. Evan Carter gets his first hit of the series there. A double will bring home a Cubs run, so no more shutout going, but it took until the 7th inning for things to start going for the Cubs. But just like that, it is now within 3 runs. Last postseason, we had a lot of trouble late in games pitching. Don't want to see it rear its ugly head already here. let's hop in and see if we can finish out this victory. Had a bit of a recording mishap here, so I'll have to show you the replay of how Chase Dollander ended that inning, able to get the strikeout there on a nicely located curveball to keep the Cubs from adding any additional runs. So it's 3-6 here now, bottom of the 7th. Hopping back into the live action here, and Sterling Thompson gets a miss of a pitch there and able to take it for extra bases. Evan Carter with the throw in, but an excellent response. The start here, the 7th inning, after Chicago made this one a ball game. So Brian Doe now up to the plate. 2 hits today, has a home run, and here's another one. Crushes another pitch and adds his 2nd home run already of the postseason. The automatic double has established himself as a postseason star. That's why he's hitting number 1 for this team. Not just because of his speed, because he is a constant scoring threat. All of 5'7". You can't be missing pitches against this guy. He's as dangerous as it gets when it comes to these powerful hits. 110 miles an hour off the bat, 450 feet. I think it's safe to go back into some simulation here as we've extended our lead back to 5 and we get 6 with that Murillo RBI double. So we just have to have our pitching finish this one off for us. And so far, so good. Into the 9th, and offense not looking to do too much here, as we'll take the 6-run lead here into the 9th. Kopech trying to finish things off for us, and the Rockies are victorious in Game 1 by a score of 9-3. A lot of exciting plays by the offense. 4 home runs in the game, 2 from Brian Doe, including the very first at-bat of the postseason for this Rockies squad. An excellent start here. Chase Dollander goes 7 innings. We get 11 hits, scoring 9 runs off of them. Had 3 different innings in which we scored 3 runs. So an excellent start for both sides of the ball game for this team, and now it's time to hop into game number 2. Great start to the series in Game 1. Let's get straight into Game 2 here at home. Rockies faithful showing up once more, waving those towels. They gotta be happy with the way our offense performed. Just a ton of homers. Would have loved to see Neil Dorsey get in on the action there, but, you know, we're just nitpicking at that point. What a Game 1 we had. And speaking of Neil Dorsey, he'll be the one on the mound here for this one. 4.22 ERA, 1.3 whip. Really solid season from him. Nothing to, you know, get super excited about by any means. It wasn't a great season, but combine that with what he did on offense, and yeah, very easy MVP candidate this season. Let's get into the simulation here. Starting things off with a ground out. One more, and let's round out the entire side. Brian Doe versus Byron Rowe. Looking like twins out there. Unable to start the game quite with as much pop as we did last time, but a walk from Herrera will get us with a good chance to score here with Zach Veen, but he strikes out and the Rockies are scoreless after the first. We got a 4th consecutive ground out before Casey here singles, followed up with a walk, and the Cubs have somebody in scoring position and another walk. We have bases loaded, 1 out, a fielder's choice there, and that will not bring in the run. And a ground out there, and Dorsey gets out of the jam. Very nice done. Very nicely done by him. Fly out, strikeout, and fly out once more. slow start to the game for the Rockies offense, but luckily for us, the Cubs unable to do much either here. Byron Rowe really tearing through this lineup here in his start. We get an error there, which keeps us from the 1-2-3 inning, and then a 2-run home run. You've got to be kidding me. They get 2 runs off of an error. Who was the error on? That's a terrible error, man, and the Cubs take the lead. Rockies offense still struggling against Rowe here, and now back-to-back singles. And another error. What is going on? Can we just play defense, please? Figueroa with a single. That's the first time we've gotten a hit in quite some time. But unable to do anything with it. Still scoreless for the Rockies. Back-to-back singles again, and the Rockies decide to switch it up at pitcher. Bases loaded once again for the Cubs, and a double play ends the inning. That's what we needed. Joe unable to keep the momentum going after a very strong game one. Herrera with a single and a walk today. Probably been our best player, but a double play. What is going on here with this game? It's 2-0 as we head into the 7th, and so time to hop back in and watch this one play out. We've got trusty Devin Smeltzer on the mound here, going against James Triantos here first, and a liner over to Herrera. Gets the first out here. Pitching has to hold up, and then the offense has to get involved here, and a nice pitch to strike out Evan Carter there. The slider gets him to chase outside the zone. 2 up, 2 down. Now going against a hitless Yordan Alvarez today. Liner over to center field is snatched up by Brian Doe, and a great inning pitched by Smeltzer. Can the offense get involved here? We're going to start with the MVP. He pops it up to third base for out number 1. Byron Rowe has been absolutely mowing through this lineup, and it's looking like more of the same here in the 7th. That pitch count. I mean, this guy might be able to go all the way. Solis grounds out there, and more of the same for the Rockies offense. Unable to even pick up a hit. AC going down, swinging on a slider again. That's pitch is working for Devin Smeltzer here. Christopher Morel now gets this one to sneak past the infield there, right up the middle. So a 1-out single there. Does put us in the double play territory for Michael Busch. His 2-run homer earlier was the only runs of the ball game, and he's done it again. Another 2-run homer for the Cubs, courtesy of Michael Busch. His 3rd home run of the postseason overall. 419 feet, and now all 4 runs here in Game 2. Courtesy of that man right there. Smeltzer just left it hanging a little bit too much there. Busch takes advantage. So now we've got a 4-run lead to somehow come back from here in 2 innings. 2 runs. Had some confidence it could be possible before. Now I'm not so sure. 0-2 pitch for Figueroa, hit deep to right field. It's over the wall, and the Rockies will not be shut out by Byron Rowe here in Game 2. Thank goodness. First home run of the season for Omar Figueroa, with a bounce-back season this year after entering the year with some questionable job security. He's shown up in a big way so far for us this year, and shows up big for the first time here of the postseason. And the Rockies build off the momentum now. Kyle Brown hitting in the 8th spot for us. Can't beat the throw. So 1 out gone here in bottom of the 8th. Now the 9-hitter, Sterling Thompson. He's down on a slider. Not a very pretty swing there. That's the 5th strikeout of the game for Rowe. Doe got a pitch on that inside third of the zone. Pops it up to center field, and it'll be a 3-run difference for us as we now head straight into the 9th to see if this Rockies team can make the comeback. The closer here for Chicago is Ian Hamilton. Herrera gets him to a full count, but then swings at the inside sinker with a miss for out number 1. Murillo up next. That pitch was hit decently hard, but it's right over to first base, and he's down on the ground out. That'll bring up the MVP. 1 for 3 today with a single, and he's got another one here. The game is not over yet. Rockies still fighting. Can Veen keep things going for us here? 0 for 3 today. Another one hit decently hard, but it's right at shortstop this time, and the Cubs win game 2. Just not quite the performance we needed. The offense did not show up today at all. I mean, nearly getting shut out. Never really had people in scoring position. And Byron Rowe just had an excellent day on the mound. That's really what it comes down to. Neil Dorsey wasn't bad at all. So it was just the offense that let us down for the first loss of the postseason. So we head now on the road with this series tied up. Byron Rowe just really put the screws to us. We couldn't get anything going in this game, unfortunately. Let's rock the road pinstripes here. Going to Wrigley Field. It'll be Jose Barreto on the mound for us today. And with the day off and Dorsey not having to go too deep into the game, it looks like his energy won't be too much of a problem in this one. Gotta see a bounce back offensive performance this time. Not the kind of outing you want there in game 2. Pitching wise, though, it's been pretty good if you consider, half of those runs that were scored in the previous game by Chicago came via error. It was really a 1-2 ball game if you take that away. So, of course, the 1 is not nearly enough, but if the pitching can hold, I think we've got a really good chance to take back the series lead. And Barreto, who struggled a bit last playoffs and also struggled a bit here in the regular season. Maybe he can turn it around here in the postseason. We're going to be going against the Chicago ace, Nick Lodolo. So, chance for another low-scoring game, perhaps. We need to be able to hit off of their ace in this game. Brian Doe gets things started off with a single, and Clemente Herrera. And just like that, it took 2 batters for us to already surpass what we scored last game. 3 straight outs following that, though. So let's see what we can get out of Barreto today. Ground out, walk, and a strikeout there. I think you'll take it. Brown starts us off with a ground out here, and we go down 1-2-3 in the second. Casey singles. Gets into scoring position here, and now a walk makes it men on first and second. And out of the inning without anything doing for the Cubs. Top of the third now, we get another 1-2-3 inning for our offense. Jose Barreto able to respond with one of his own, though. It's kind of looking like game 1 here, where we had a good start to the game, but then just really didn't do much after. Kyle Brown gets hit by Lodolo here. Single there from Figueroa puts Brown in scoring position, and it's a 2-run double from Sterling Thompson. Makes it 4-0 Colorado, and Lodolo is gone in the 5th. Much better offensive performance, getting the better pitcher out much earlier in the game. Rowe went 8 innings last time. Murillo with his 2nd home run of the postseason already. He and Dope already with multiple homers. You'll love to see it. We've got a man on 1st and 2nd after the Salas walk. Figueroa singles, and it will load the bases. Ground out there, though. We can't get anything else. 5-0. Barreto here allows a single. Energy still looking good, but starting to allow some runs there. 4 hits allowed, but no runs through 6 for Barreto. Great start to the postseason from him. Back out here for the 7th, allows the walk, but then instantly grounds into a double play after it. It remains 5-0 as we now head into the 8th. Might not have to hop into this game at all. The offense really starting to struggle here late, though, but we do have the lead. Sal Frank comes in after Barreto allowed the first single there of the inning. Nothing doing for the Cubs, though, so can we shut out Chicago at home? Sal Frank in to attempt it, but we'll switch it up to Kopech here, and he instantly gives up a home run. We will not be shutting them out, but we will be winning 5-1. The Rockies retake the series lead. We saw a home run from Herrera and a home run from Murillo in this game. We saw an excellent start from Barreto, and the Rockies are just 1 win away from booking another NLCS trip. Most likely, I would guess it's against the Braves. I know they're in the NLDS, but I haven't checked up on how those series are doing. We could do that here before we hop into Game 4. But able to get 5 runs on 6 hits. Did not leave much stranded here, except for the one time we left the bases loaded, of course. And then the Cubs, on the other hand, actually had one more hit than us, but we did a good job of pitching in the clutch. So shout out to Jose Barreto, who wins Player of the Game. Omar Figueroa looks like the only one who got a multi-hit game. So not, a stellar offensive performance, but good enough. Atlanta is currently down 2-1 to San Francisco. I would honestly not hate to play San Francisco either. I'd love to see that awesome outfield with Salvatore Morales and Jason Lindsay, but we have to actually get there first. We could still lose 2 in a row. I'm going to go ahead and hope that that is not the case. We'll go with the black uni here with our road pants for Game 4. That is not what I wanted to do. I want to manually make sure I select our pitcher here. It's going to be James Ungerer, who will try to seal the victory here. And everybody's still really good energy here. So we're ready to hop on into it. 99 and 63 versus 85 and 77. The pitching has been much improved so far in the postseason. That might be because we're simulated and not actually watching a lot of it. That could have some, play into it, but it also could just be that we have an improved pitching staff, with everybody being so young and everybody continuing to improve. I was expecting for us to have better pitching than we had last postseason. So far, that has been the case. It'll be Cade Horton. Wasn't great in his first start of the postseason. Only able to go 4 2/3 in that one. So hopefully we can continue that trend here and end the Cubs season. Ryan Doe pops up to start the game, a grounder, and then a double by Murillo. Can Dorsey pick up his first postseason RBI? No, he can't. Strikeout here to start the game for Ungerer, then allows back-to-back singles after it, and able to get through the inning without allowing it a run. Strikeout and a solo shot from Ethan Salas gets the scoring started today, and it's back-to-back homers for the Rockies. Figueroa follows that up, a walk by Kyle Brown, and a single by Doe makes it another scoring opportunity for Colorado here. For Clemente Herrera, he singles, but Thompson can't score. Bases juiced for Murillo. Screw it, I'm actually going to watch this. I want to see this play out. 2 outs, bases loaded, top of the second. Maybe we should do something more like this where we hop into moments throughout the game rather than just hopping into the final 3 innings. You guys should let me know kind of what you want to see from the playoffs going forward, and we can do that. I think this could be a good compromise as well. Just wanted to find a way where we could get through multiple games in an episode without me having to edit, 6 hours worth of footage. This one struck well by Murillo. Not going to find the gap, though, so we leave the bases loaded. Hopping back now into the simulation. Pop up, fly out, and a strikeout there for Unger, and our strong pitching continues. Bean with a walk and gets a stolen base into scoring position, but can't do anything with it, unfortunately. A single here for Alcantara, but Cubs unable to do anything with it. Kyle Brown, leadoff single into a walk, and Doe has a scoring opportunity here, and we get another single. Again, the runner holds at third here. So the bases juice, no one out for Herrera, who singles and scores 2 more. Another scoring opportunity for Murillo. This time he walks. Bases juiced for the back-to-back MVP. Here's another moment I want to hop in on. Not quite as high leverage because it's not 2 outs. But we'll be going against Brian Leroy here. Just 2 for 12 so far from him. Unfortunately, not a great start to the postseason here. But the rest of the offense is certainly picking up the slack in most of these games. A grand slam could cure all ills, though. Swinging at that one high and outside. Fouls it off now, falls behind 0-2. Good take there. The changeup way outside the zone. This guy looks like he's got some pretty nasty break on a lot of his stuff. That was a hittable pitch there. Fouled off by Dorsey. And then he's looking at the changeup low in the zone. We'll have to wait a little bit longer for Dorsey to get involved here in the postseason. A walk there from Veen brings home the 5th, and then another walk brings home the 6th, and another walk brings home the 7th Rockies run. Leroy is really struggling, and then a grand slam by Kyle Brown. 9 Rockies runs in the 4th inning make it 11-0. What is going on in game 4? Rockies finally retired, but I think it's pretty safe to say that we've got this one in the bag. It would take a monumental collapse here. I mean, Unger is starting to struggle a bit. The bases are now loaded, but he is able to get the clutch strikeout. Let's go, man. The pitching has been so good. A triple there from Murillo brings home another run for the Rockies. Dorsey falls to 0-4 today. Pretty much the only guy except for Sterling Thompson who's been unable to hit Chicago. Hasn't been a perfect day for Unger by any means. He's allowed 6 hits, but he's keeping them from scoring, which is what ultimately counts in the end. Get a leadoff double there. This is easily the Cubs' best chance to score, but they go out back to back after it. And Murillo successfully gets a steal into scoring position. And there you go. Dorsey with the hits. Drives in his first run here of the postseason. Maybe that can get him going. We're going to need him in the NLCS. I think a little bit more than we needed him here in this series. Starting to struggle a little bit here for Unger. And we do decide to take him out. I think that's a good decision, even though we're up 14-0. No worth playing with our food, and Salfrank comes in and sucks. Oh my gosh. Can we get it out? Oh my goodness. This is insane. Holy crap. We just allowed 7 runs in the 7th after not allowing anything. Oh my gosh. That is nuts. How is our pitching so bad at times? It truly baffles me. Much better there in the 8th, actually doing our job there. Double there from Dorsey. Single will not bring him home. Looks like he was out at home plate. Scoring position for Figueroa, but we don't add any additional runs. Have a 7-run lead here in the 9th. Should be an easy win. And just like that, the Rockies come out victorious here in Game 4. Winning the series 3-1 and getting a second consecutive NLCS berth. Will it be against San Francisco? Will it be against Atlanta? That is the question we have to answer here. I think both would be really fun matchups. If I could honestly pick 2 opponents to face, those would probably be the 2 that I would want to face the most. So I am certainly good either way. Player of the game goes to Kyle Brown, who went 3 for 3 with a grand slam. Just beautiful stuff. We'll be going against the division rival Giants here in the next episode. Let's take a look at who we'll be facing off against. Jason Lindsay, very familiar with his game. We've been following him ever since he was almost our first round pick way back when. He just had a 9.4 WAR season. My goodness. I mean, 323 with home runs in the 20s. He's an elite defender as well. Yeah, he's an awesome player. Hassan Kim, playing shortstop. He is regressing at this point in his career. Still playing okay, you know, mid 700s OPS, but the guy who was a major breakout star this year, I probably gotta raise his potential if he's close to maxed out. If he's got like 89 potential, I'll keep it, but if he's maxed out, I might have to raise his potential a little bit, because he just went 324 with pretty much 1,000 OPS, 35 home runs this year. Not a great defender, so hopefully we can, you know, take advantage of that, but still a 6.6 WAR despite that. I mean, all of his fielding's in the 50s. Might be a guy that they just DH. I probably would myself. Ken Mora, another outfielder. He mashes lefties. Got a lot of speed on him. So this is probably their outfield, I would guess, or maybe McKinstry probably plays. Yeah, I would guess McKinstry plays and Morales DHs. They got Marco Luciano as well. Now this pitching staff is not good. So we might be seeing some very high scoring action in the NLCS, which would be really, really fun. I can't wait to get this series going against the Giants. Hope you enjoyed this format. Again, if you have suggestions as how we should change it going forward, let me know. I think we could certainly implement some changes, but I did have fun and I was able to record this in a reasonable amount of time as well. So I think I'm okay with this kind of style of going through playoff series going forward, as long as you guys don't give me even better suggestions to do. But that's all I got for the episode. We'll be back soon to face off the Giants, and I will see you then.